Okay, here we are. This is episode 2 of the Create Stream, as we call it. This is still a growing and new thing, which I'm really excited about. I'm Jonathan, in case you don't know who I am. And I'm kind of like the music guy around town, I guess is what I'll say. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about some Christian music, some independent music, and we're going to be talking about that with Megan Brown, who is actually out of Nashville, and so I'm going to add her into this chat right now. We should be seeing her in a second, and hopefully hearing her as well. So let's see if that worked out. Hey, there she is.
Hey!
What is up, Megan? How's it going?
It's going. I feel like I've already met you and we're already friends. First time we talked.
Yeah, I almost called you Meg out of habit. And then I was like, oh, wait, I'll call her Megan officially first. And then I'll call her Meg, since you said that's what your friends call me.
You call me Meg.
Okay, well, there we go. Well, Meg, I'm super excited to have you on here for real. And I was just kind of giving people like a brief overview real quick, but you're a singer-songwriter. You create independent Christian music and music that's in that category as well. And you're out of Nashville, correct?
Yes.
Okay, now have you lived there your whole life, or did you move there for music? What was that like?
So I'm actually from a town outside of Nashville called Hendersonville.
Okay.
It's about 20 minutes from the city. I graduated high school there, and then I went to college at a few different colleges for one semester each.
Yeah.
Long story short, I wasn't an on-campus college person. I figured that out very quickly.
Nice.
But then I moved back to the city and just like finished school online.
Cool. And what's funny, I did online school stuff too, so I'm in the same club. I got it. But so I guess first question here is how long have you been writing music? I guess right out of the gate. Like, when did you first start writing stuff?
I guess officially when I was like a junior in high school. That's kind of when I started writing. I started off writing worship music like for my church.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. How did that shift feel, going from that into more of a, like, I guess it's very like based off of your experience with the Lord and writing very personal songs. So like going from a corporate worship writing to that, what was that like for you? Because that's interesting.
Yeah. It was really interesting. I feel like I had to shift my mind from like writing, using the same like 10 phrases to say things, to like saying things how I actually want to say them and like how I actually feel.
Right.
So I feel like that's the transition that I had to make in my head, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. I think it's actually quite interesting that you went from corporate style worship into that, because I think that sometimes you almost will see the reverse of that, where someone will start off with more personal music and then eventually they're like, maybe I'll start writing for other people to experience, and it almost shifts that way. So that's really cool that's kind of how that ended up. But you're going to be the first person to actually perform music on these live streams.
Hey.
Because the last person I had was Sean Halim, who was with Alabaster, and he created that whole lo-fi album. And so you're going to be the first person. So you have a song for us.
Yeah, I have 2 songs, if that's okay.
That's excellent. Do you want to do the first? And what's the first one we're doing today?
It's called From the Dust.
Nice.
Do you want me to like explain what it's about, or?
Yeah, absolutely. That would be awesome.
Okay, so it's kind of, these songs both kind of fit in the same theme. Something I've been thinking about lately is like questioning and doubting.
Mm-hmm.
And this specific song is about some doubt that I've had in regards to like the afterlife.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a pretty honest song. So
yeah. And yeah, no, I think too, just right out of the gate, I've listened to this song several times, and the lyrics are so so forward and interesting as well. And I love that there is, and I'll let people experience, there's one phrase in there that I feel like is often associated with a bad phrase, but that is in the context that it is actually a very honest statement about the afterlife. So without spoiling it, why don't you go
Yeah,
for it?
sure. I know that there's a place I'll go, a place that I will call my home. They talked about it growing up. I read it in their picture book. But I'm wearing down and it hurts like hell. So I'll try my luck and hope that it's enough to get me back to where I'm from and save me from the dust. What if I admit the times I don't believe I'll be alright? Will you cast me in a fire and shut me for the rest of time? But I'm wearing down and it hurts like, so I'll try my luck and hope that it's enough to get me back to where I'm from and save me from the dust. If I die, if I pray the Lord my soul to take me to the pearly gates. Don't wanna live this life in vain. I'm wearing down and it hurts like hell. So I'll try my luck and hope that it's enough. Wanna go back to where I came from, so save me from the dust.
Oh man, such a beautiful song, Meg. Seriously, I love the honesty in that, and that's why I think these live streams are so important for people, because we are like a youth ministry based page and all of that stuff, and I think that people aren't aware a lot of times that there's really honest music out there that's really wrestling with some ideas that are very difficult for a lot of people. So it's easy for people to feel like they're on almost an island, and that they're like, am I the only one thinking about the afterlife and wondering what it's like to experience suffering in life and all of that? So such a beautiful song for that, and it feels so personal, and it's just really just fantastic song. Yeah. And so I guess rolling on to the next question here. Like I was saying, we're kind of a youth ministry based page. And so in that line, we're talking about music, but also when you were, youth age, I guess. And what was your experience like with the church as a whole, or youth ministry at all? What were your thoughts around that? What was that like?
Man, this is like really interesting to talk about. It's kind of like
Yeah,
a long answer, I guess,
that's
but
okay.
I had a weird experience where I like went from being super, super like, I don't know, like immersed into everything church. Like when I was in high school, I was at church at least like probably 5 or 6 times a week.
Oh
Like
yeah, there you go.
something, whether it was like something with the or like volunteering for something, whatever. And I feel like at the time, everything was great, like in my head. And I thought that I knew God. And like, I thought that the God that was being presented to me in that space was like the real Jesus.
Hmm.
But later kind of found out, no church is perfect, obviously. But later I kind of found out, like, maybe there are parts of this Jesus that I was presented
Hmm.
that aren't completely accurate.
That's I. That's so interesting because I think that is. I think we're starting to see a little bit of a shift in that, because I think for a long time we did see kind of a cultural, this is what's happening with Jesus, this is the Jesus you need to see, and that there is this shift after you get out of youth group. And I feel like I see it all the time, a lot of times for really good, that people will start investigating that for themselves and think, do I really believe what I've been hearing this whole time? And if I do, like, what does that mean? And it starts that whole process. And so is that kind of what you're saying happened there?
Yeah. And then I think, so that's kind of a realization I had maybe like a year ago. That was like me being out of high school for a while
Mm-hmm.
and still kind of being in the same space that I was in when I was in high school spiritually. Um, so yeah, I just think that like there was a lot of things that were presented to me when I was in that space that were not exactly like
Mm.
the greatest representation of God. And I
Yeah.
think like, one of the lines in that song from the dust, will you cast me in the fire and trap me for the rest of time? That was kind of like how the gospel was presented to me in a lot of ways. Like, if you don't accept this gospel, then like you'll be casted into the fire and like damned by God, and he'll be mad at you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's not the greatest way to like make teenagers want to know God.
Yeah. It's that delivery of information. I feel like there's a lot of fear evangelism first and foremost in a lot of places where there is obviously a respect and a fear for who God is, but not fear in a way of I'm afraid of the consequences. It's a respect of who God is, but what we find is that sometimes people will take all of that and they'll talk about that so much that they completely forget the portion about God being completely love and God being the final judge and authority, and they kind of take that persona onto themselves, and they're like, I'm going to be the one to save people, and I've got to do that by scaring people. And that's a terrible method. So I mean, that song itself, you can feel that it's wrestling with this idea of what does eternity look like, and how do I process this, because our minds are so it's so hard for us to comprehend what eternity is,
Yeah.
and punishment, and God being just but God being love. So I really love that song for that purpose. I really do. It's very authentic and well written. So it's really good,
Thank
and
you.
cool to see that connection with your youth experience and moving into like being a young adult. So
Yeah,
but let's see here. So you have a second song
I
for
do.
us. And which one is this?
I think it's called Somebody Worth Loving. So I actually co-wrote this one with a few friends. Um, and it's also kind of about doubt and maybe believing. Something that I do a lot is like I subconsciously believe that my doubt disqualifies me from
Hmm.
like God. Um, and yeah, that this song is kind of about me processing that emotion.
Yeah.
I guess I'll play it for you.
Cool.
Talk to God today for the first time in a while. Thought I heard his voice, but it could have just been mine. Am I more than just the sum of all my questions and my doubting? Trying to figure out if I could still be somebody worth loving. Mm-hmm. Am Am I somebody worth loving? Am I somebody worth loving? No, I've heard you speak 1,000 times before. Please remind my soul that you'll never let me go. Am I more than just the sum of all my questions? Am I doubting? Trying to figure out if I could still be somebody worth loving. Am I somebody worth loving? Am I somebody worth loving? I don't wanna be afraid anymore. Tired of this pain I brought on myself. Don't wanna control anymore. When you say it's yours, it's yours. I'm yours. Ooh. I am somebody worth loving. He says I'm somebody worth loving. I am somebody worth loving. He says I'm somebody worth loving.
Yes, fantastic, Meg.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
I know I said this right after the other one, but like you're such a gifted songwriter, lyrically and musically. But the lyrics, they just really cut through, and you get so much meaning out of that. And I thought probably one of the most interesting concepts you brought up in that song is this idea of when we pray to God and be like, was that just me talking
Yes.
in my head? That's something I remember I would struggle with that. And, still it'll pop into there. And all the way through youth group and even into being a young adult and now, I would have these thoughts of like praying and be like, I think the Lord is telling me this. Wait, is this just me like cutting into the conversation as myself? So it's things like that that I think are so incredible about what you're writing are these thoughts that, they make people think, I've thought that exact same thing, but there wasn't a song that was saying it, and now there is. So that's such a cool song and such a creative lyric in that moment as well. So just
Thanks.
yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to like creativity and your walk with the Lord, like where do you find that I guess intersects? Like how does creativity and your walk with God, I guess, mingle in that moment?
This is also something that's kind of changed. My opinion on this has changed. But I kind of think like I don't know, like I'm created to create. So therefore by creating, I'm just glorifying God. And by simply existing, glorifying God because I was created.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, like the fact that God is the ultimate creator, and I love saying that, is God's the ultimate creator, and it's this common grace that we see in humanity where people who have a relationship with Jesus and people that don't, they have this need to create something, and you can see so much good come from creating, and that's all just 100% a reflection of who God is, and so it's like wanting to steward that well, and so I love the fact that that's how you view that, is that by creating, you're like, I'm just mirroring God by creating things at all.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I used to think like to be a Christian that makes music, I have to like explicitly make music that says like certain things about
Right.
or I have to say the name of God like in the music for it to glorify God.
Yeah.
That's actually putting so much pressure on myself to like do the right thing to glorify God rather than to just simply exist, which is like what I'm called to do, you know?
Yeah. That's so accurate. I think um, that's kind of like similar in a way to something that Michael, who started this page, when I first went into youth ministry, I asked him his advice on that. And he said there are going to be a lot of times that you're going to want to pretty much be the Holy Spirit, and that you're going to want to be the one to convict and be the one to do this. And he's like, but the truth of the matter is you aren't able to do that yourself. That's completely God. And so that can intersect into how we create things, of being like, I have to make sure that I do this perfectly, and that when someone hears it, that there's going to be like a revival that breaks out. And the truth of the matter is, just by creating and by doing that, we are able to point towards God in what we do. And so that's really cool that
Yeah.
we can do that. But let's see here. Do I have another? Yeah. Okay. So I have one more question. This is a fun one because I really enjoy I enjoy tech. I enjoy gear. I enjoy recording stuff. So is there a piece of equipment or a guitar or a certain thing of gear that you are just all about right now, or you've been all about it and you love playing on this, or you love using this all the time? What do you have that you like?
Um, well, I guess I have two things. One of them is my guitar, of course. It's a Martin,
There
as
you
you,
go.
but the thing that makes it so cool is it's basically like a cheaper way to get a Martin. So they use a specific type of wood that like cuts down the cost. It's called the X series.
I've
So
got one over here. It
you do?
literally to my side. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds great. Like it sounds like a Martin, looks like a Martin, says Martin, but it's just like way cheaper. Like it's under $1,000. So
Yep.
if you're
I
looking to for $1,000.
oh man, mine's in the case, but I had mine. Mine's one of the X series, and I got it when I was, I think, 15, and I still have it. But I played it pretty much every Sunday for years, and played it nonstop during the week. And I ended up just wearing a hole in the front after enough playing
Yeah.
on it. But that's also because I strum really terribly. I strum like over the neck, and I've had to break that habit of moving it down.
Yeah.
But I love those guitars, and they're super. They are a fantastic value,
Hmm.
but like I still love mine and play it all of the time. So
Yeah.
that's super cool. But so yeah, I guess the last thing here for us is, obviously you've already played two songs that people can go stream at any point, but like, is there any way that we can like support you in your music? What's the best way to do that?
So I have a Patreon actually. I'm working
Oh,
getting the rewards to be better than they are right now. But I do have a Patreon, and the link is in my Instagram bio. So that would be a great way to support me. You can also follow me on like all the social medias. So follow me here, follow me on TikTok, on I guess that's all the social media. Is there more? Am I
I
missing?
don't. Maybe I don't know. It's changing every day. But I will say something that's interesting is that I noticed you gained a following on TikTok, like more first, which I don't know that I've met many independent artists that are like writing music that is talking about their walk with the Lord and all of that have started out of that. And so was that like, how did that even wind up happening? What did you do there?
I have no idea. So like a year ago, I've literally posted a video of myself playing, like one of my songs was playing in the background, and I was just like dancing around like an idiot, like literally flailing my body around. I was just, listen to my song, and it like went viral. And
Why
yeah,
not? That's how it happens. It's always the weirdest stuff that goes like absolutely insane. I had a, uh, a one video on TikTok that got like 1 million views, and it was the oddest thing because it was my parents, as a joke, they put out a giant Christmas tree in their living room to mess with me and my brothers when we all came over for Christmas. And it is just basically this bush that they cut down and put in the living room. So I filmed it. I'm laughing. I posted it to TikTok basically because I have friends that followed me there. And then it just went absolutely crazy, and I don't know what I did there. So other than film a tree. Yeah. Yeah. It's always weird, but anyway, it worked for you, and I'm glad. And just again, want to emphasize to people, you can actually, there's like a drop-down menu somewhere up at the top, and y'all can drop that menu down and go follow Megan on Instagram. Yeah, do it and keep up with her that way. And she's got a Patreon that you can go support her. We will be posting a swipe up link. I may post a swipe up to your whole profile on Spotify, honestly, because y'all can just like scroll and listen to her music. I know I do that already. And Meg, I'm glad we're friends. I'm glad that you came on, and I really appreciate your songwriting. And this was an awesome time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. But we'll keep talking. We may have you on another time at some point in the future. But thanks again for joining.
All right. See ya.
See y'all, everybody. Bye.